Well, finally, I'm going to get around to doing it. Hi there, it's Brian Hornby here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Well, this will be the first of 4 NHL jersey ranking videos that I'm planning to do. Well, this will be the first one. I'm going to look at all 31 NHL teams going into the 2020-21 season. Rank them all their home jerseys. Obviously with 31 jerseys. This will be ranked from 31 to 1, from my least favorite to most favorite. And just like with any other ranking videos that you see on here, it is strictly my opinion, and I will explain each jersey, where I have them on each list, and it ultimately was quite a task to rank all 31 jerseys, because there was a few jerseys that I find I like the most, and then there's some that I like the least, and it'll reflect my rankings. But about 85% of the jerseys, it's kind of like in that same class, that it's like indifferent either way. So it was quite a task to rank them all out, but I have come up with my ranking of all 31 jerseys, home jerseys, for this video. I will plan to do one to rank everyone's away jerseys, which would be everyone's white jerseys, as well as the recently released reverse retros for all 31 teams. And then my 4th video will be ranking everybody's alternate jerseys. And in that video there actually was more jerseys, but not every team actually has an alternate jersey, and some teams have more than one. So as I say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, which is mostly what I do on my YouTube channel, just make sure you hit like, subscribe if you're new, or if you're returning, well, welcome back, and let's get to the list, shall we? So I got my list of notes here, and I'll show my graphics. So starting off my home jersey ranking for number 31, I actually do have the Anaheim Ducks. As looking at this, I mean, even though it's at number 31, it's not legendarily ugly. Let's say, you know, with the Flying V or the Captain Hunter jersey, or, you know, the Burger King jersey for the Los Angeles Kings. But I think once Anaheim rebranded and changed their colors and their logo from their beautiful original jerseys, I have this one kind of at the bottom of the list. I mean, it's the mixture of the colors that doesn't seem to pop as much. And I mean, it kind of has that ducky, goofy font. And I know that once they changed their name or branding, where Disney used to actually own the Mighty Ducks, and then they dropped the Mighty part, just called the Anaheim Ducks. The first year that they were technically the Anaheim Ducks, they actually won the Stanley Cup. But after, when Anaheim had their original jerseys owned by Disney, I just never seemed to really like their colors as much, and it's just the mixture of everything that why I have them starting off the list at number 31. So number 31, I got the Anaheim Ducks home jersey. So move up to number 30, the Nashville Predators. And the big reason why I have the Nashville Predators down here is it's that marigold yellow. It's too overpowering. I mean, especially, you know, when they had their playoff runs, and it just looks too bright. And I mean, the mixture of the blue kind of maybe offsets it, but it's that contrast between the marigold and the blue that it looks too much. I mean, it's nice that they put the keys in the neckline, which some of these jerseys, but you don't really see that. I mean, the only way you know it's there is if you have the jersey, or if you are wearing it. But I mean, Nashville's had a decent logo for the whole history of the franchise. But I think when they've really emphasized the marigold, it's too overpowering. So that's why I have them at number 30 on this list. So if we continue moving up, I have number 29, actually the Tampa Bay Lightning. And the reason why I have the Tampa Bay Lightning down there, I mean, it's a combination of how the jersey looks too basic, and the fact that it kind of rips off both Toronto and Detroit, but those are legendary jerseys that I'll obviously mention later on, but I just don't like the logo as much compared to what the Tampa Bay Lightning used to wear. Basically, you know, when they drop the black as their primary and have that basic, you know, logo, it just looks too bare bone and basic in my mind. So, as much as I rat on Tampa Bay Lightning, especially when they beat the Calgary Flames in 2004, those jerseys that they wore then, those actually have been their best jerseys in the franchise history. I just think Tampa Bay is another team that should go back to their original, but black back into their, and bring back that original logo, because it was a sweet logo. But Tampa Bay is number 29. So number 28, not because I'm a Flames fan and like to pound on the Edmonton Oilers, but the reason I have the Edmonton Oilers number 28 in my home ranking jerseys is that orange. That orange looks too overpowering. I mean, the blue is a nice blue that they use as an accent, but I know that that's what the Alberta Oilers, when they first came in the World Hockey Association before they merged into the NHL, that's what the Alberta/Edmonton Oilers wore back in the day, and it kind of pays homage to that. But even that orange that I think that they wore back in the WHA is more of a burnt orange than that bright orange, but it's the orange is too overpowering. And to be honest with you, if I did this list a few years ago, and this would be something I wouldn't mind doing every season as teams change their fashion and their feelings on jerseys change, I actually would have had Edmonton a little lower on this list, believe it or not, just because of the orange. If Edmonton, let's say, go back to having their blue as their home jersey and have the orange as the shoulders, it would really shut up. Because Edmonton's had decent jerseys for most of their history, but just like the Nashville with the marigold, their primary color is too overpowering. So that's number 28. So number 27, I actually give this to the Vegas Golden Knights home jersey. And even then, it's still taken me a few years to really warm up and accept what the Vegas Golden Knights wear at home. But it's only been, this is going into their 4th year, but it's just the kind of really dark gray that kind of, yeah, I guess it's kind of, they give that feel of the, you know, the desert vibe, but I don't know, it's just how the mixture of the dark gray with the black. I mean, the gold and the red trim is nice, and it's a nice logo, considering it's you know, the newest franchise before the Seattle Kraken comes in next season. But you know, it's just how it looks at home. It's just, it's not overwhelming, but it's okay. But you know, there's a lot of, you know, pretty good jerseys in between. That why I have Vegas down at number 27. So number 26, I actually put the Florida Panthers, and the thing that I put Florida a little lower is it's just how the composition of it looks. I mean, I guess they kind of try to rip off the Montreal Canadiens with the stripe in the middle there, but obviously when it comes to the logo, I like the original jumping cat logo. Stick or no stick, but that was their best look that the Florida Panthers had. It almost kind of look like a football/soccer combination jersey. Just where they have the shoulders, numbers right on the shoulders. And then, I mean, the Florida state with the Panther is a nice look. But, you know, I mean, they dropped the blue, and looking at it, just, I mean, red is my favorite color. But it's just how everything looks with the logo, which is why I have the Florida Panthers at number 26 on my home jersey ranking list. Well, it's okay, but I liked what Florida wore when they first came into the league. So number 25, I give that to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I think the reason why I have it down is that, I mean, Columbus has okay jerseys the whole time they've been in the league. I know that they had that goofy bug logo, but I mean, it's nice, you know, with the star and the state of the Ohio, and has the Ohio State colors in. But I think this one, I would say it's a little too much blue and not enough the accent white and red, which is why I have the Columbus Blue Jackets at number 25. But I mean, they have a nice shoulder logo, and everyone seems to like the cannon that they wear as an alternate, or as, you know, that's part of the experience at a Columbus Blue Jacket scheme. But I think this one, I would like to see a little more of the secondary colors for me to put it up a little higher. I mean, it's an okay jersey overall. But when, let's say, when I touch upon it, I'll do an away jersey ranking. That some teams that have lower down in this category, actually their road jerseys look a little better. And this would be one of the teams that I would say actually like Columbus's away jerseys better than their home jersey. But that's where I have it, number 25. So we're up to number 24. I give that to the Arizona Coyotes. I know they had a major rebrand in 2003-04, which is when they changed that Howling logo and got rid of that Kachina Southwest design that seems to be more popular now. But you know, it's an alright jersey. I mean, it's kind of that same dark, dirtier color, desert feel that goes back to the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, the logo looks alright, but I think compared to the Kachina look that they had, I actually like that a little more. I mean, the paw that they have on the shoulders is nice as well with the A, but I mean, it meshes in alright, you know, with the dark burgundy and the black. But I think compared this to the Kachina, I actually like the Kachina a lot more when it comes to the Arizona Coyotes, so that's what I have at number 24 for my home jersey ranking. Number 23, I give this one to the Los Angeles Kings. And I mean, they've have, since when Gretzky came into Los Angeles, they mostly have been primary black and silver. Sometimes they occasionally bring in that royal blue or the purple during the other eras in between, but this just looks very basic. I mean, I think the black and gold, which the best jerseys that the Kings had, was the Gretzky era with that kind of Chrysler logo and the, you know, fast looking Kings. I mean, this one kind of, you know, has the mixture of, you know, has the crown with the black and white and then the LA, but I know that you could probably say Kings fans will probably be synonymous now with this jersey because they won 2 of their 3 Stanley Cups with it. But it's just very basic. I mean, for a black and silver jersey, I just think the Gretzky era, it's called, was the better LA Kings jersey. So that's what I have at number 23. And then keep in mind, in this stage, this is where kind of everyone's kind of clumped in, where I felt kind of the same. By the way, I just had to put them somewhere, and I did move a few teams around after I made my initial list before going to record. So let's move up to number 22. I actually give this one to the New York Islanders, and I mean, this is a classic look that the Islanders have had. I mean, this, I would say, of their wacky history of the jerseys that the New York Islanders have worn over the years, you know, with the alternates and when they rebranded with the Fishermen, this kind of has that nice, you know, look that they had during their glory days, I would say, or their best logo. I mean, I think the shoulder, or not the shoulders, but the stripes are a little wider than they were back then. But it's a nice classic look for the New York Islanders. The, you know, the blue and the orange, it just works. But there's just a ton more beautiful jerseys in front. That's why I have it number 22, and I'd say this is the look that the New York Islanders should just stay with, because they've experimented with too many jerseys in the past that kind of tarnished that legacy of their glory. So number 21, I have the Vancouver Canucks. And I think ultimately, I mean, Vancouver is another team that's obviously had a very, very colorful and very interesting history of jerseys. But this has been the colors that the Vancouver Canucks have definitely sailed with the blue and the evergreen, and ultimately it took me time to accept that at the Orcolo, it looked like an eel breaking out of ice or water when it first came out, when they rebranded to that. But then ultimately they kept that look, but went with the blue and the green. And ultimately, looking at the Vancouver Canucks jersey history, everyone likes the skate logo when they finally got settled to what they want the skate logo to look like, especially the ones that they wore in the 1984. I think ultimately this is the best look the Vancouver Canucks have worn throughout their whole history. I mean, it has the modern stake or rink logo on the shoulders. And then when Vancouver dropped the Vancouver word mark on the logo and made the logo more powerful, that's where I have at number 21, the Vancouver Canucks. I think this is their best look in their 50-plus year history when you consider everything. And ultimately, I accepted that logo as a, rival of my favorite team. So number 20, I have the Colorado Avalanche. And I mean, their primary look has kind of remained that since the team moved from the Quebec. But it looks like it's just it's a look that's kind of stayed. I like the logo. It took me also time to accept how they put in the, kind of the burgundy and the dark blue. I think it's just also being upset that knowing this team moved from Quebec. But it's worked overall all these years that the Colorado has been with the Avalanche. I mean, obviously this rendition of the Colorado team's been better than the Rockies, but it's an alright jersey. I mean, it's different how they incorporated the striping and the shoulders, and then the nice look with the Colorado C on the shoulder patches. I mean, it's kind of a look that's just been reliable for the last 25 years. So that's what I have for Colorado for the number 20. So now we're getting into the midsection of the ranking list. Number 19, I have the Washington Capitals jerseys, and I actually think the Washington Capitals, they've gone through for a few rebrands as well. That they had the original kind of that stick logo Capitals with more stars, and then they had that screaming eagle and changed the colors. But I think ultimately when it comes to the Washington Capitals, I do like the red and blue, which is kind of the the colors of the U.S. I know that when the Screaming Eagle era, it was a cool logo, but they had the kind of that gold and dark blue. But this kind of meshes in, they modernized the original logo and the shoulder patch logo with the eagle and the outline of the the Capitol building. That's knowing that that's the capital of the U.S. I mean, it's been a nice jersey since the Washington Capitals kind of rebranded to going back to the original, but it's an alright jersey. Overall, nothing to complain about. I mean, the only thing that you can maybe be a little picky about is just how they put the stripe in the sleeves. But it's with Adidas or Reebok, they've done some of those wacky things that you miss on classic jerseys overall. So number 18, well, this is another team that I ultimately have had a lot of different color variations over the years. I mean, you figure out Pittsburgh's main colors are the black and gold, but Pittsburgh finally got it right when I felt that they got back to their, jerseys that they wore in the early 1990s when they had Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr, because I think the Pittsburgh Penguins, worst jerseys was the one that they wore basically from the late 2000s and early 2010s. When Sidney Crosby was still at the top of the game, or at the top of his game, and briefly when the Penguins had Jerome Iginla. But these jerseys remind me of those glory days when they had Mario Lemieux when they won their first 2 Stanley Cups. I do like the baby blue colors a little more that Pittsburgh originally had, but this is still better than what Pittsburgh did over the years. The the word mark, and then that some people call it the Robo Penguin. Eventually they've rebranded so much, but this is their best look when it comes to just black and gold. But I do like the baby blue that the Penguins used to wear, so that's why I have them in the middle of the list. So number 17, I give it to the Dallas Stars. I mean, this is called the Victory Green, and it's just a lost the gold, but I do like the Dallas Stars, what they used to wear when that team moved from Minnesota, and you can look back at the jerseys that they wore in 1999 when they won the Stanley Cup. That logo and that, color scheme, I think it's a little better than it is now. I mean, this is all right for, you see the big D and the star, but they stripped it down a little much, but I mean, it's okay. That's hence why I have it in the middle of the list, but that's my opinion on the Dallas Stars. It's an okay jersey, but I do like the ones that Dallas wore when they first moved from Minnesota. So now we're getting, I guess, right in the middle. I have it the Philadelphia Flyers at number 16. I mean, this jersey looks really good for kind of modernizing the original jerseys that the Philadelphia Flyers had. I mean, that flying P is another iconic logo that will never change, and that definitely says Philadelphia Flyers all over it. I mean, I like it because it looks like the original Philadelphia Flyers, what they wore in the 1970s, the Broad Street Bully days. But I know that my favorite orange jersey that the Philadelphia Flyers had, and this orange isn't as overpowering as the Edmonton Oilers orange because that's that burnt orange. But my favorite orange is one they wore in the late 1980s to the early mid to 1990s, especially during the Legion of Doom days. I mean, I like that orange jersey the best that the Philadelphia Flyers wore, but this is a nice touch just to kind of, modernize the retro jersey. But it's in the middle of the list because, it's a look that's been safe and conservative for the whole time that the Philadelphia Flyers have been in the NHL. So number 15, I give this to the New Jersey Devils. That's another team that, other than changing a few colors here and there, I mean, New Jersey's either had green and red or black and red. I mean, New Jersey's always had a pretty solid jersey history overall. I do like the red and black a lot more than the red and green that I know some people like a lot more with the New Jersey Devils, but I mean, they obviously had their best days wearing the red and black when they won their 3 Stanley Cups, especially when they had Martin Tavares and Scott Stevens. And I mean, this is just the modernized Adidas with the bigger black shoulders, but it's definitely always been a solid middle of the road jersey, the red and black. And red and black always looks great together, and the New Jersey Devils, since that franchise started off in Kansas City, and then it was the Colorado Rockies, and then moved to New Jersey. They've been settled in since then, and they've always had decent jerseys the whole time. New Jersey's never really had an ugly jersey that you would say is notoriously ugly. So number 14, I actually like the Minnesota Wild jerseys that they have now because it kind of looks like that vintage modern. I mean, it has all the striping in the middle, and then just that nice M on the shoulders. And it definitely brings in like their own identity of this version of the Minnesota hockey team. I mean, the reason why they lost the Minnesota North Stars is not because they weren't getting enough fans, it was poorly managed. I mean, Minnesota, after all, is called the state of hockey. But even then, Minnesota was another one of those teams that kind of took me a while to accept the name, the logo. It seemed lame when it first came out, but it's a good logo that they have overall. And I mean, the right mix of green and red. But this look definitely, I would say, probably is the best look that the Minnesota Wild has had since Minnesota has come back in the NHL, just because it kind of has a mix of, the vintage and modern, and the colors just work overall. And I mean, that M, it just kind of gives that collegiate feel as well, that proud state of hockey. So that's what I have at number 14. So number 13, I give it to the Carolina Hurricanes, and I'm going to say since the franchise moved from Hartford to Carolina, I mean, it's been a solid logo the whole time, where you have that puck kind of as the eye and the red and black, and just how the warning flag, on the stripes. I mean, it's a solid jersey overall. They've had a few variations, but this looks like a lot cleaner than the one where they had on the shoulders that had a few more of those hurricane logos. But you know, this definitely is a nice, you know, nice home jersey that the Carolina Hurricanes have had. It kind of looks closest to what the Carolina Hurricanes first wore when I said they moved to Hartford and when they won the Stanley Cup in 2006. So it's a good home jersey for the Carolina Hurricanes. Number 12, we could say finally, Buffalo, finally. You've done it. You've gone back full retro, just like a few other teams that are still higher up in this list. The Buffalo Sabres, they've also have experimented many times over the years, but ultimately they have the right blue back, the gold back. I mean, the striping looks nice. It kind of mixed in with that vintage jerseys that they originally had, but ultimately the Buffalo Sabres, their best look is this blue and gold with the running buffalo and the swords logo. They have had too many variations over the years. I mean, when they had the buffalo head and the black and red, it was all right, especially during the Dominic Hasek days when they went to the Stanley Cup in 1999, and then they screwed up with the Buffalo Slug. But then they had, you know, the overpowering gold jersey with the running buffalo. But Buffalo finally has done it right. This is the right blue, the right gold. So it's great to see that Buffalo has finally, you know, gone back to their original jerseys, because it's their best ones that they've worn over the 50 years of their NHL history. So number 11, well, another team that talking about that's gone full retro is the Ottawa Senators. This definitely looks like a nice logo with that they brought back for this upcoming season. But I mean, the Ottawa's colors are all red and black, as you can see with many of their teams. But you know, it mixes in. It brings back the original logo and jersey style that the Ottawa Senators wore when they first came back into the NHL. I mean, the other jerseys that I like that Ottawa has that they occasionally wear is that O jersey. And I actually wouldn't mind if they used that full time as well. But to have just the modern era of the Ottawa Senators, they definitely look great again wearing just the originals after going through a few variations over the years, especially some word marks or that different Senators logo. I like this look the best for the Ottawa Senators than this version. That and the O that they have more for vintage jerseys. So now we're entering in the top 10. This is where you can pretty much separate the clump that everyone was kind of in the same group to absolutely beautiful classic jerseys. So here we go into the top 10. So number 10, I give that to the Winnipeg Jets. And I'd say when the Winnipeg Jets came back into the league after the Atlanta Thrashers, the Winnipeg Jets, they've always had a great look all the time. The right, you know, mix of blue, the light blue and the dark blue that you primarily see. You know, there was that Air Force logo that they brought back. I know there's always that aesthetic for the vintage from the original Winnipeg Jets that they seem to wear that almost just as much as these jerseys. But since the Winnipeg Jets came back into the NHL, they've always had a great look with their primary jerseys and just how the striping looks. It gives that, you know, jet transportation feel that Winnipeg's known for, and that shoulder patch. I mean, it looks sweet. That's something you can legitimately put on an airplane and call it Winnipeg Jets. You know, and have a Winnipeg Jets brand for airlines. So Winnipeg has always had a great look since they've gone back into the NHL. So number 9, well, this is definitely another beautiful jersey that mixes in well with the blue and the golds, is the St. Louis Blues. This one kind of looks like a mixture of vintage and modern at the same time. This look has looked for the last few years that the St. Louis Blues has worn. I know that some like the red that they had in the mid-1990s, and they primarily have had different shades of blue and gold, but this just works with the mixture of the blue and the dark blue and the gold. It looks like, you know, what the St. Louis Blues used to wear, but they modernized it, and recent success that they've had when they went in the Stanley Cup in 2019 probably will keep this look a little going on a little longer. So it's a top 10 look in my mind for the St. Louis Blues. So number 8, well, eventually you're wondering when am I going to put the San Jose Sharks in, as they, you know, if you have a shark on anything, you can almost say that's a badass look. And San Jose has always, you know, mastered the teal. They made the teal cool. Kind of just pays homage to the original team with the California or the Oakland Seals or the Golden Seals. I know that the original teal, I think, is the best look that the San Jose Sharks had, but I think this is the closest look that they've had. I mean, the logo has changed slightly, and I understand that the San Jose Sharks have recently revealed a 30th anniversary of that original jersey, but this one definitely still looks very nice and nice textured. I mean, the teals, it's always been the best look for the San Jose Sharks, especially when it's been their primary color. I mean, the way the stripes look, it's a little different than what they originally wore, but you know, it's always a badass look that the San Jose Sharks have had. And, you know, it proves that this hockey can work in Northern California. And, you know, San Jose has been around for over 30 years, believe it or not. And this has always been a nice look. I know when they experimented with some grays and different striping, ultimately it was the original, and this, I think, is the best looks that the San Jose Sharks have had throughout their franchise history. So let's continue to move up. I have number 7, the Detroit Red Wings, and you can never say Detroit's really had an ugly jersey over the years. I mean, that iconic winged wheel, it shows that, you know, the red and white just works perfectly how the Detroit Red Wings have done it over the years. I know they've had some nice you know, outdoor jerseys that they've worn just to kind of pay homage to the original teams. We'll talk about something different when I get to the reverse retro, but for this being their primary home jersey, it's a classic, iconic look that the Detroit Red Wings, there's been small variations over the years, but it tells you, you know, what they came up with when they became the Red Wings, because the Detroit team actually used to be called the Falcons, but they've always worn red, if I understand. I know other looks that I like is that textured, you know, Old English D that you see on the Detroit Tigers, but this has always been an original 6, and you never go wrong with the original 6 because their look is timeless, and this is one of them for the Detroit Red Wings. It's number 6, another timeless look, is the New York Rangers. I mean, this blue and red is perfect. That's how the New York Rangers have worn it for so many years. I know some people don't seem to like that, or it's mixed with the 1970s when the New York Rangers had that shield logo on the front, but this word mark works. I know that sometimes word marks are hit or miss in my mind when it comes to jerseys, but how the New York Rangers pull it off is perfect, and it's timeless as well. This is another timeless classic look that the Rangers will have for another 100 plus years, and it won't change too much. They've had enough. They have many other nice jerseys that they've worn over special events that still incorporates the word mark as well, but this is another iconic, timeless look that you can't change much over the years. Number 5, well, there's a reason why I have a lot of the original 6 teams closer to the top, because they're all beautiful. And the Boston Bruins for number 5, I mean, this looks like a nice look that, you know, kind of mixes in some various eras. I mean, I like this one actually a little more than, I know they've had some plain just black ones and some plain gold ones, and then the logo looks a little more textured than compared to what they've worn in the past. But Boston is another team that has a timeless look, being the original 6 franchise with the spoke B and just how they incorporate the gold and the black all together. So Boston, that's another team that should stay relatively sane all the way, and with all the various outdoor games that they played in, you've pretty much seen every vintage jersey that the Boston Bruins have had that they've modernized up to date, but that spoke B is another timeless logo. So number 4, well, I got to give this one to the Toronto Maple Leafs. As the Maple Leafs, I mean, I definitely love the blue and white. It works perfectly. I mean, they pretty much brought back the Glory Day logo, and hopefully maybe one of these years the Toronto Maple Leafs will actually get to experience some championship glory. But, you know, even if it's this logo or even that basic Maple Leaf logo that looks exactly like the Maple Leaf that you see on the Canadian flag. But, I mean, this has always been another timeless classic for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the blue and white just looks perfect. And once again, the original 6 franchise, it's a timeless look. And I actually like this one just a little more because that, you know, textured with the Leafs veins, it kind of, you know, is growing on me a little more watching this in action. So, yeah, it's another look that the Toronto Maple Leafs, you know, has, you know, haven't had really any ugly jerseys overall in their franchise history. Well, you might call me biased, but number 3, I have the Calgary Flames original red jersey. And of course, you know, if you've watched many of my videos, and I did a jersey ranking video just with Calgary Flames jerseys, and I did have this one, spoiler at number 1. It's the best look that the Calgary Flames have ever worn. I mean, obviously, there is some nostalgia, you know, when the Flames won the Stanley Cup in 1989, but when the Atlanta Flames came up with this concept from the get-go, it's worked right away. And, you know, there's a reason why I have the Calgary Flames up there, because this is another timeless jersey that, you know, the red and gold, I'm glad the Calgary Flames brought this back. If I did this jersey ranking list last year when they were still wearing the Adidas Black Flaming Sea logo jersey, it wouldn't be in the top 3. But the Calgary Flames red, oh boy, it's a top 3 worth jersey. So we're down to 2 more jerseys left, and if you've been following along, well, number 2, well, another timeless look that hasn't changed almost in 80 years is the Montreal Canadiens. That is a beautiful, timeless jersey that this is going to forever be the Montreal Canadiens jersey, no matter what, because what they came up with way back in the day. I know that they had that Barber's Pole jersey that they wore in the late 1900s, but that was fashionable back then. That is not now. But, you know, just with the C and the H, which means, you know, hockey club. That's not, that H does not mean habitat, which is the other way of saying Canadians. It just means hockey club. But that C and H, that blue, it's timeless. This is a jersey you could never mess with, and it's beautiful, and there's a reason why I have it at number 2. Being the original 6. So the one team I have not mentioned yet is the Chicago Blackhawks. That's what I have at number 1, the Chicago Blackhawks. I would say of the original 6 teams, and that seems to be a general consensus, that the Chicago Blackhawks have had the best look of all the teams of the original 6 era. I mean, the logo, despite you know, some of the criticism that's taken, especially now these days, but it's a timeless look that Chicago has worn. That you know, the logo, you know, just the history of it, how the, you know, the vintage aesthetic that they still keep on the way, and then that C and the H, or not the CH, but the C on the shoulders. I mean, that's a nice look. This is another jersey that is timeless that the Chicago Blackhawks do not ever change it. Never. It's a timeless look, and, you know, of the original 6 teams, and I am with many people that if you just look at the original 6, I think Chicago's had the best look. But that is all 31 teams that I have for ranking everyone's home jerseys going into the 2020-21 season. I mean, I do have, you know, obviously the ones at the bottom and the ones at the top, and everyone mostly in between. But, you know, everyone's had pretty good jerseys overall. None of the jerseys that I think right now are notoriously ugly that I would put in the legendary ugly category, especially with the many jerseys that we worn in the 1990s, I already mentioned. And, you know, this is my first ranking video of looking at all NHL jerseys. This was all the primary homes. I still plan to do one for everybody's away jerseys, the reverse retros, and the alternate jerseys. So I'll ask all you hockey fans out there, what are your favorite jerseys, and what did I rank too high or too low? Or, you know, it was quite a task to rank all 31 jerseys, because you have the few that you really like, then you have the few that are like, no. But everyone else was kind of like in between, and that's what I found when ranking all of these. I know that the reverse retros, I think, were a little easier for me to rank. The aways were definitely more of a task, just because everyone has a white jersey, and then the alternates, once again, it's either, you know, a slight variation of the home, away, or just something totally different. So that's what I found in my experience of ranking all jerseys. So, as I say, if you want to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, home the Flames, Hitmen, Roughnecks, and Stampeders, I mostly do talk Calgary sports on my YouTube channel, but I want to do some more ranking videos in the future, and this is one of them, and there's the 4 that I plan to do for ranking NHL jerseys. I do have personal blogs, attempt at comedy, and I also do share my experiences, say I'm on the road or at a sport event. So if that all sounds like you'd be interested to watch, to follow along with this Calgary sports fan's journey, you know what you need to do. Just make sure you hit like, subscribe. I also have my other social media links down in the description below for other ways you can follow me and get more potential updates of what I plan to do in the future on my YouTube channel. So yeah, this was all my personal opinion on all 31 NHL home jerseys going into the 2020-21 season. I explained my rankings more in depth when I looked at all the jerseys, and this is strictly my opinion, so that's the beauty of these things. If you have a different opinion, I challenge you to make your own list, or heck, make your own video and explain why you like this jersey more than the other. Or that's the beauty of everyone having their own opinion. So as I say, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, if you're either going to wait for my next ranking video or anything else that I post on my YouTube channel. So thank you.